All right, welcome back to season 2 of our show. We got a fantastic one for you today. We're cooking up a pork shoulder, Italian style, Southern Italy. We're going to show you how to cook this up and get it dressed up. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Okay, this is what we're rolling with today. This is the Digital Master Belt, runs on wood chips. Let's show you around it. I've had this Master Belt for probably about 5 years now. It only let me down once. I had a wire that was bad on the bottom that works the heat, and I replaced it. Let's show you the inside of this. It's pretty much cooked on. This is what we're going to be using today. You can see how well broken she is. This is good for holdovers, like when I'm done with a roast, I can hold it over like we're doing today. I'm gonna smoke it and just put it at 150 degrees and it'll just stay there all day long. And that's where you put the wood chips in from the side. And that's it, it's very simple. And with this roast, we're only doing 1 tray of wood chips and we're smoking very little today because I don't want to overpower that roast. It's got a beautiful built-in light underneath here. You can probably see it on my hand, and it works great. As you can see, everything in here at nighttime. And basically you just set your temperatures. You can set it. It goes up to basically 275 degrees. And when it's done, it shuts off. And the hours on here will run up to, I believe, over 24 hours. I never took it that high. And you just set it and forget it. It's even got a built-in meat probe here that you can use. And it's built right into the cooker. So here's our meat probe right here, built in right into the side of the cooker. And it's an excellent thing to have. I use it all the time, especially when I'm holding meat, because if this thing shuts down while I'm holding the meat, I want to see what temperature my meat's at. And that's it. We're going to get this roast on and we'll see you soon. Don't go anywhere. So what you're going to need is some kosher salt. I have here a couple of cloves of garlic, fresh oregano, fresh sage, and a half an onion. So first thing we're going to do is start stabbing up this roast. And we're going to stab it up just to make sure we get everything inside. And we're going to start with this side, the skin side. Just make sure you can go through pretty much all the way down with it, just like that. And you just want to be liberal with the stabs. Let's do this side. Being very careful not to stab your fingers or anything. Then we're going to flip it over. Alright, we're going to start doing the same thing to the other side. This is going to do 2 things. It's going to allow for our marinade to get down in there. And it's going to tenderize this meat. Looks like a lot of holes, but it's really not. Just keep going just like that. All right, that should be about adequate. Now let's get our onion in, or chopper. too big. We're gonna give that another cut. I'm gonna go there with the onion. Maybe another piece. Close up. A couple of dices go in. Let's get our garlic in and our sage and our oregano. Now, these are all nice fresh ingredients. You don't need a lot of them. They're very powerful. Anytime you're using fresh spices like this, or fresh herbs, they're very powerful. And a little goes a long way. And this is always a great way to season a roast. Anytime you're using fresh herbs is always a good thing. Dry herbs, they do have their places. They're a little bit less in the intense seasoning. And some things just need dry herbs. Like you can't put fresh oregano on pasta because it's going to be way overpowering or pizza. And this is where things like dry oregano comes in handy. All right, let's get this ground up. Now I'm just gonna kind of mince this just a little bit. Don't want to pulverize it. And that's where you want it, just like that. That's the consistency that we're looking for. And now we're gonna go in. Get another glove. And start to season our roast. I kind of eyeballed this. I got another piece of onion left over, so we didn't exactly use a half an onion because I have that much left over. And we're going to go into our roast with this now. We're going to start stuffing this down into our roast with all those nice holes we made. Just get it all down in there. I'm going to take this glove off because it's not working out too well. Just use my hands. Get your hands down in there. You might have to redo a couple of holes to get it in there. Just take your time. This one's not deep enough, so I'm gonna get that nice and deep. Right down in there. And the other holes will tenderize. And you got some deep holes. Just get as much as you can get down there. Get a nice big piece open in there. Get it in there. And don't worry about putting too much. Now, we're going to smoke this at about 275 degrees. And we're only going to go with about an hour of smoke. Because what we're doing afterwards is that we're going to take all the meat off the bone. And it's going into a beautiful sauce to go on top of a fresh homemade pasta. And that's what we're doing with this roast. So we're seasoning it up to go inside a pasta. We don't need that smoke that heavy because we're not making pulled pork. We just want a hint of it. So I'm only going to give it about an hour's worth of smoke just because I don't want to overpower this roast. So it's going to come out with just a hint of the smoke. That's it. If you go too hard on the smoke, you're going to overpower it. And your sauce is going to taste like smoke. So we don't want to do that. All right. So we're getting this in here. And as you can see, a lot of it's being used to go inside. The reason why I chose this piece of meat, the shoulder, is because it's juicy. A lot of that fat's got to hold in all that flavor. And the fattier the meat, the more flavorful it is. All right, I'm going to turn this back over. And the holes that we put in this side, I'm going to start to fill those. We got one good size in here. Just like that. And if you want, you can even start to cut away underneath the meat like this. Separate the fat from the meat. Get in there underneath the meat. Right under the skin. Make a pocket. Being very careful not to come through. And just go from the side right in there. Now you're kind of ensuring that it's going way down in there. This will cover it up. And just pack it in, just like that. Get it all the way down in there. Now we're good. So what I'll do with the leftover pieces, let's just get that side over here. I'm going to lift this side up, the fat. Let's lift this up. Make sure that hole is nice and big. Just like that. And now that that's big and that's lifted up, I can go right in there. Even if it's left over on the table, go right in there. If you have a whole onion like this, stick it in there. It'll keep the meat juicy, moist. Now it's in there. Whole onion. Let's coat this onion. Let's stick that in there too. You can see how deep these holes are. I got whole onions going right in there. Right up under the skin. Never go wrong. There we go. Turn it back over. Let's find a couple more holes. There we go. And we're going to put the rest of it right into that cavity. And the remaining right in there. Okay. Now that we have that in there, we're only going to salt one side of this. So we're going to take this out of the way. We're going to put this in the basket over here. We're going to take everything else from our tray here, all the remaining scraps. We're going to get it in here. We're going to get a little salt on top of there. Might look like a lot of salt, but it's really not. It's a whole roast, so just now just laying on the top. That's it. All right. So right now it is about 11 o'clock at night. I got my cooker heated up already. As you saw what we're cooking on today, the Masterbuilt. I got that already heated, ready to go. And we're putting this right on, right now. We're gonna let this go for about 13 hours, and then we're gonna pull it, and we'll show you what to do from there. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. 13 hours is on the clock. This is set to 275. It's time to get this on. And here we go. And we're going to close her up. We're going to see it in 13 hours. No basting. That's it. We're just going to let her roll. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our roast is actually still on at 150 degrees. I left it on the Masterbuilt, and why we're doing that, we're gonna make a quick sauce while it's resting. Let's show you what's going on. All right, we're gonna start with our garlic. I got some crushed garlic here. We're gonna give that a stir. Now we have a couple of cans of crushed tomato in the back. 28-ounce cans. We're gonna go in with some onion, just about a half onion. Let's get it all nice and sauteed in. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. Now just when you start to smell the garlic, you want to go in with your paste. Because you want to kind of brown up your paste a little bit, get the flavor out of it, because it's going to release the oils. I'm going in with my paste. This is 12 ounces. I buy the bigger cans just because they're a little bit less expensive. And off to the side we are with that. Just get it stirred in there good. Two different types of oregano. I have fresh, which we're going in with a little bit of fresh. And the dry we're going to put in. The dry we're going to put in after we put our tomatoes in. A tomato puree. You can also use a crushed tomato. You just got to crush it in there, but this is what you want. Nice pasty consistency, just like that. What we're going to do before we put a puree in is we got a little Marsala wine. We're just going to kind of go in and deglaze with just a little bit of the Marsala. That's going to get all those nice sticky garlic and paste off the bottom. before we go in with our puree. All right, now we're going to go in with a puree. Now we put a paste in. It's going to be way too thick if we don't put any water behind it. I have it measured out here. This is 7 cups. If you don't want to measure it out, just use 2 of these, just double it. So we're going to go in with our water. And believe me, it'll thicken up. And just give it a stir. And you want to stay here and just keep stirring it. Just before it's about to come to a boil, just put it on low. And just keep stirring it until it thickens. In with oregano. This is the taste. You can put as much as you want, or as little, or none. But you need both. You definitely need the fresh. A little bit more garlic left in here. You definitely need the fresh, and you definitely need the dry. 2 different flavors. Both say oregano, but they're very distinct flavors, and you need them both. Now this is a quick sauce, and we're going to add the meat to this sauce, and that's what's really going to add the flavor, because it's the meat sauce. If I was just going over regular pasta with this, I'd have to add a couple more things if it was just a virgin sauce. So because we're adding meat to it, we don't want to overdo it. And I never add salt or sugar to any sauce because it doesn't need it. Just stir just like that, and it'll start to thicken up. And that's it. We're going to keep stirring this. We're going to reduce it down, and then we're going to get it off the heat. The whole thing is going to take about 15 minutes. We're going to add the meat, and we're going to get it back on the heat just a little bit for about another 10 minutes. And then we're going to make our pasta, and we're ready to serve. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right. We've been stirring this for just a little bit now, about a half hour on the stir, and that's the consistency you want it. And the reason why is because our roast is ready. And we're going to take that entire roast and we're going right into the sauce with it. Here we go. So this has been resting on the smoker. I'm going to grab it all in just one piece. And just get it right in there. Our bones are breaking out. Let that juice get out of there and let it go right into the sauce. Just like that. And let's stir it in. You can see how tender that is that it just started to break up right in there. And that's what you want. The nice meat is just falling out of there, right in there. We're going to cover it, and we're going to let this go for about a half hour. And we're going to break the meat up in there, just like that. Break it up off the bone. And as you can see how tender that is, that meat just, it's falling apart right in there. Alright, so we're going to let this go for about a half hour. We're going to break it up in there, and we'll meet you on the chopping block. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so we're doing a little fresh pasta tonight. to go along with this. Never go wrong with fresh pasta. Let's get these cut up. Put in the flour. Got our flour here. Now the nice part about fresh pasta, you can kind of let this dry out as well too. I like my pieces some big, some small sometimes, but for this video's sake, we're just going to make them all about the same size. It's about where you want them, just like that. I'm going to get them in the flour and separate them. Alright, we're going to finish this up, get them in the pot, and see you when we're serving. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, we're here, we're on the chopping block. Let's see what we got. This is our beautiful sauce. And we're just going to show you what it looks like. Now, we let this cook down, and look at the bones that came out of here. And before we serve it, we're just going to pull those bones off to the side. And we're going to find the other bones that are in here. And we're serving this family style. So look at that meat. It's just falling apart in there. Nice big chunks. We're going to break that up and we're going to serve it. I do have another bone in here somewhere. There it is. And look at that. It just fell right off that bone in the sauce. So if you let it cook down, you won't even have to pull it. It'll kind of pull itself. Let's put that off to the side. And today, we're plating up family style. So we're just gonna break this up a little bit more. Now, I pulled the skin off of here. And I cut the skin up into fine pieces. Not too big, not too little, but we got a lot of skin lovers. See this big piece of skin? We got a lot of skin lovers. It just falls apart in our family. And we'll fight over this. So, let's serve this up family style. Over here is our ladle. First thing we're going to do is just get some basil in here. This is our fresh pasta. So I like to get a little fresh basil in there. And just mix it. I got some olive oil on the bottom. And we're just going to mix that fresh basil in there. Just to get that flavor in there. On that nice fresh pasta. I put a touch of salt in here. And add a little bit more basil. Alright. Now we're going to start adding our meat. Decent amount. Never go wrong with too much meat. Look at those pieces. We're serving 4 today. So everybody, 2.5 pounds of pasta. Everyone should be comfortable. with this nice amount of meat. It just breaks apart. Got a little piece of skin here. And for the skin lovers, I'll just cut it up for them. Another little piece of skin here with some fat. All right, let's get a couple of ladles of sauce going on here. And you can see how that nice sauce is almost like a gravy. We're just gonna go right down with it. A little bit more. Can never go wrong with too much sauce. All right, now we're gonna go in with a little regatta cheese. Get it right on there. Just gotta kind of get it right in the middle, right on the ends. This way everybody gets some. I got a few of these, so I'm just going to use this one up. There we go. The last of it. There we go. We're going to sprinkle a little bit more basil on top. Just like that. And a couple of nice leaves. Right off to the side. Just like that. And that's it. That's family style. That's how we're serving that. I got some hungry guests waiting. Just got to put a little bit more basil on that side. Use up our basil. We got some hungry guests waiting, and we don't want to keep them waiting. All right, I'm going to straighten up here. We're going to show you the whole shebang, and we'll see you right back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, there it is. Pork shoulder and red sauce. Followed by a nice pasta, fresh homemade. Regatta cheese. Parmesan cheese. Some bread. And some fresh mozzarella. Tomato and basil. And if you like this video and more videos are about to come, don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe. Thank you. We enjoyed having you. And with no further ado, gotta get that little pitmaster taste.